everyone, I know it's been a long time, but I'm finally back here at the racetrack with Project Civic Si. Unfortunately, as you can see, the weather conditions are not great. I can't even see 50 feet in front of me. How is this possibly going to work? But once the fog hopefully clears when you get on track and set some quick lap times, that's the goal at least. But let me show you around the car first, because a lot of things have changed since I've last been on the racetrack. I know it's been quite a while. So as a refresher, FA5 Civic Si, K20 motor. The big change here today is the wheel and tire setup. Still a 17x8 with a 215 Bridgestone in the back. Up front, 17x9.5 Wed Sports, now with a 255/40 RE71R. These are sticker, brand new tires. So you have quite a lot of front grip. I brought a brand new pair of 225s for the rear as well, if the car feels super loose, but we'll see how that goes. Inside, have our AIM Solo data logger, along with an OBD2 data logger down here that I pulled out of the E46. Will show me real-time things like coolant temp, timing advance, things like that. And the reason why I want to log the engine more closely for this event than previous events is because if you've been following along, you know that I've finally modified this engine. For the longest time, it's been completely bone stock down to the paper air filter, but no longer. We now have a Skunk2 3.5-inch quarter intake, a Skunk2 Alpha long tube header tucked away back there, and a 3-inch full race exhaust. I had the setup dyno tuned to produce about, I believe, 203 wheel horsepower, which is a little bit on the low side, but it's a conservative road race tune on a low reading dyno. Still, it's a good bit more power than stock, so hopefully we should get right up on the 2-minute barrier, maybe crack sub 2 if the weather holds out, but that remains to be seen. Let's cut to the track footage, the stuff that you and I really enjoy. Okay, so we finally got some track time here at Buttonwillow. The fog has lifted enough for us to be able to see the entire track. Unfortunately, we had to wait over 6 hours for this to happen, so track time is severely limited, which is extremely disappointing. But we ended up going out, getting a few laps in. We were the first people out on track all day, so we were just street sweeping the whole time. The track was incredibly loose. There was like mud on the track. It was kind of a disaster. Yeah, not super duper promising, but hopefully we'll get a few more sessions now of other cars cleaning the track, cleaning the line up a bit, finding a bit more grip in the pavement, because I'm not sure if you can hear my teeth chattering, but it's still very cold here. But on the upside, with my data logger, IAT's intake temps were staying at 40 degrees the whole session because it's so cold outside, and that cold air intake's clearly doing its job. And the car ran great. I know that because even driving really bad, like my driving is honestly quite terrible after not being on track for so long, I still managed to do a 203.7, which is not a PB, but that lap was geared up to be a PB in the area of about a 201 until I had a little incident. It turns out I adjusted my rear shocks wrong, so the car was super tail happy, especially with the 255s up front and a 215 in the back, and I ended up putting a left rear wheel off track, coming through sweeper onto the back straight, and looped the car, not looped the car, but spun, and lost on my time, so I managed to do a 203 even with that. Interestingly, in that lap, even compromising my exit into the S's and screwing the whole thing up, I hit 112.1 miles per hour, which is about 4 miles per hour faster than I was ever hitting at this track previously with the stock engine. So the bolt-ons and tune are definitely doing something. The car feels really strong and really punchy. It's just really a combination of getting my balls back on this track, because it's all commitment, all bravery, and two, hopefully getting some more grip back in the pavement, because the track is just so loose right now. It's really hard to commit to anything because the grip is just so not there, and when the pavement's cold and slick, it's a really razor's edge. You'll just fling you off the track like what happened to me. I need to be careful because right now it's been raining, it's been so misty, everything on the side of the track is straight mud, and that's what you don't want. Dust and dirt is no problem, but mud is when you can really catch a wheel and flip your car over, and I've seen that happen before, and it's really unfortunate. Unfortunately, with all that being said, I only have a few laps left in the whole day, which is extremely, extremely disappointing, but hopefully I can go put it out there, put it together, and maybe get a PB in. I mean, I know the car's a lot more in it than what I'm gonna be able to do today. The conditions here are just not great. But hopefully I can put something together and make this all feel somewhat worthwhile, at least to me.
Go, go!
guys, I made it back from Buttonwillow in one piece. Unfortunately, as you saw, no clean laps to speak of. With only basically 1.5 sessions all day, the track was slick the whole time, and there were 28 cars in the advanced run group, which is just way too many cars, short of a wheel-to-wheel race. So fighting with traffic was just as much of an issue as fighting with the conditions. You can see I was really nervous while driving the car. All my inputs, I was second guessing myself a lot because the grip was just not there that day. Between the slight tweaks to the car, it was very oversteer bias, and that with a very cold track did not help things. All the curbs are basically off limits because as soon as you hit them, your car just slips, which is really unfortunate because Buttonwillow, the fast lap, used all of the curbs. So a lot of my cornering speed was very compromised, which of course compromised my speed onto the straights and reduced potential lap times. Still, until I hit traffic on that lap, my aim solo data logger was showing a potential for a low 2-minute flat run, like a 2-minute 0.3 maybe, around there. Hitting traffic obviously compromised that. I kind of blew the whole last corner to try and get past that GTI and past that E30, which is very annoying. Neither of them let me pass. I made the pass happen, which is what you have to do sometimes in the racetrack. It's just kind of how it goes. Still, even with the obstructions and people in the way, I managed to run a 201.3, which is a massive PB, a huge improvement, a full 1.6 seconds faster than I ever was in the stock tune, even with my bad driving. So that shows just how much power has been added to this car. It's so much quicker in the straight, so I have to relearn the track because I'm now setting myself up in completely different spots because it accelerates that much more quickly. And to prove that point, I hit over 113 miles per hour GPS verified on the back straight there, which is a full 5 miles per hour faster than my best possible lap with stock power. And to put that in perspective, 5 miles per hour on the back straight is huge. They say in drag racing, on a quarter-mile drag, every mile per hour you pick up in terms of your quarter-mile trap speed takes about 10 horsepower. And that's a good rough math metric for you to understand just how much quicker this car is now with the intake, exhaust, header, and tune. It feels like a completely different car. It also sounds much, much gnarlier. I'm glad I didn't completely blow the microphone out, but yeah. Disappointing day, but shows just how much potential there is in the FA5 platform, especially once you do modify the engine, because it does seem to be one of the few, naturally aspirated 4-cylinder cars that really does respond well to basic NA tuning. And I think with open seat time, open track, we might crack the sub-2 barrier. But that's then, this is now. My name is Jake. You watching Drive, Break, Fix, Repeat. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time where I go do more fun things with cars.